Welcome to Diana the Storyteller. It was just another ordinary Monday morning at the prestigious Hilton Tower in downtown Manhattan. The lobby gleamed with polished marble floors, golden accents, and crystal chandeliers that sparkled under the morning sun. Business executives in tailored suits hurried across the floor, their shoes clicking rhythmically as they made their way to important meetings. Hotel guests, many of whom were wealthy travelers, lounged in the plush velvet chairs, sipping gourmet coffee while reading the day's news. In the midst of all this luxury, Mrs. Linda Harris, a middle-aged janitor with warm brown eyes and calloused hands, quietly went about her job. Dressed in a simple navy blue uniform with Hilton staff embroidered on the pocket, she pushed her cleaning cart through the lobby with practiced ease. Her thick-soled shoes squeaked slightly against the glossy floor as she mopped up footprints left by hurried guests. Despite the dignity she carried herself with, Linda had become a target of ridicule among some of the hotel staff. The younger, fashion-conscious front desk employees often snickered behind her back. "Look at her," whispered Emily, a glamorous receptionist with perfectly manicured nails and an air of superiority. "She's been here for years and still hasn't figured out that no one cares about a janitor." Her colleague Jake chuckled. "I mean, seriously, she's mopping floors while we're handling VIP guests. Big difference." Linda heard them, of course. She always did, but years of enduring such comments had taught her to keep her head down and focus on her work. She had a family to support, 2 kids in college, and a mortgage to pay, and no time to waste on petty insults. As Linda wiped down a marble column near the entrance, a tall man in a crisp black suit strode into the lobby, flanked by 2 burly security guards. His unmistakable shock of blonde hair and commanding presence made heads turn instantly. It was none other than Donald J. Trump, the billionaire businessman and president of the United States. The room seemed to freeze for a moment. Conversations halted and eyes widened as people recognized him. Even Emily and Jake straightened up, suddenly eager to look busy. "Is that Trump?" Jake whispered, his voice filled with awe. "No way," Emily breathed. "What's he doing here?" Trump's arrival was unexpected, but what happened next was even more surprising. As Trump made his way across the lobby, his sharp eyes caught sight of Linda, who was still diligently scrubbing a stubborn scuff mark on the floor. Unlike everyone else, she hadn't stopped working to gawk at him. He changed course and headed straight toward her. "Excuse me," Trump said, his voice firm but polite. Linda looked up, startled. She recognized him immediately, but maintained her composure. "Yes, sir?" "You're doing a fantastic job," he said, gesturing to the gleaming floor. "This place looks spotless because of you." Linda blinked, momentarily speechless. She wasn't used to receiving praise, especially not from someone as high profile as Donald Trump. "Thank you, sir," she managed to say, her voice steady despite the whirlwind of emotions inside her. By now, the entire lobby was watching. Emily and Jake exchanged incredulous glances, clearly stunned by the interaction. "What's your name?" Trump asked. "Linda Harris," she replied. He nodded thoughtfully. "How long have you been working here, Linda?" "Almost 15 years, she said, "since my kids were little." Trump's expression shifted to one of genuine admiration. 15 years? That's impressive. You must be one of the hardest working people in this building." Linda felt a lump form in her throat. No one had ever acknowledged her dedication like this before. "I just do my best," she said modestly. Trump smiled. "Well, your best is clearly exceptional. You know, a place like this doesn't run without people like you. It's easy for everyone to see the fancy chandeliers and the expensive furniture, but none of that matters if the place isn't clean and welcoming. You make that happen." Linda's eyes glistened with unshed tears. "That means a lot, sir." Trump turned to the hotel manager, who had rushed over as soon as he saw the commotion. The man was sweating profusely, clearly nervous. "Is this woman being paid what she's worth?" Trump asked bluntly. The manager stammered. Well, we follow all industry standards, Mr. Trump." Trump's eyes narrowed. "Industry standards? That's corporate speak for not enough. I want you to give her a raise, a significant one. People like Linda are the backbone of businesses like this. Without her, you don't have a 5-star hotel. Got it?" The manager nodded vigorously. Yes, sir, absolutely. Linda was in shock. A raise? After years of being overlooked and underappreciated, this felt surreal, but Trump wasn't done. He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a gold-embossed business card. Handing it to Linda, he said, "If you ever want a change of scenery, give my office a call. We're always looking for hardworking, dedicated people like you." Linda took the card with trembling hands. "Thank you, Mr. Trump. I don't know what to say." "Just keep being amazing," he said with a wink. As Trump walked away, the lobby erupted into murmurs. Emily and Jake stood frozen, their faces a mix of embarrassment and disbelief. "Did that really just happen?" Jake muttered. "I can't believe it," Emily said, her voice hollow. "He actually noticed her." Linda, still holding the business card, felt a newfound sense of pride and validation. For the first time in years, she wasn't just the janitor. She was Linda Harris, a hardworking, dedicated woman whose contributions had finally been recognized. Word of the incident spread quickly throughout the hotel and beyond. Guests and staff alike treated Linda with newfound respect. The management followed through on Trump's directive, giving her a substantial raise and better working conditions. But more importantly, Linda's story became a symbol of dignity and perseverance. She had always known her worth, but now the world knew it too. And as for Trump's business card, Linda kept it in a frame on her living room wall, a reminder that sometimes recognition comes when you least expect it. Linda's life began to change in ways she hadn't imagined. The recognition from Donald Trump was just the beginning of a transformation that rippled through not only her work life, but also her personal world. As weeks passed, the raise came through, and it was more than she had ever dreamed of. The new salary allowed her to pay off some of her debts and ease the financial burden that had weighed heavily on her shoulders for years. But it wasn't just the money that made the difference. It was the way her colleagues started looking at her. The younger front desk employees who once mocked her now greeted her with polite smiles, and some even struck up friendly conversations. Emily, who had once ridiculed her, found herself apologizing one morning as she approached Linda with a coffee in hand. I just wanted to say I was wrong. You really do an important job here," Emily said hesitantly, her voice softening with sincerity. Linda, ever the professional, nodded graciously. "Thank you, Emily. We all have our roles, don't we?" The respect from her peers grew steadily. Guests who recognized her from the viral stories about Trump's praise started to treat her with more consideration. People who had once ignored her now said hello with smiles, and some even went out of their way to thank her for keeping the hotel spotless. But it wasn't just the change at work that affected Linda. The gesture from Trump had inspired her to pursue something she had always dreamed of, starting a small business. With the extra money from her raise, Linda began attending night classes in business management. Her goal was to one day open her own cleaning company, one that would provide quality services while treating every employee with the respect and dignity they deserved. She kept the gold-embossed business card framed on her wall, but over time, it became more than just a symbol of one extraordinary moment. It became a reminder of her own resilience, her hard work, and the realization that no job, no matter how humble, was ever truly insignificant. One evening, as Linda sat at her kitchen table, sorting through paperwork for her business plan, her youngest son, Tyler, walked in. He was home from college, and his face lit up when he saw his mother working on something so important. "You're really doing this, huh?" he asked, awe in his voice. Linda smiled. "I've always wanted to, Tyler. I've worked hard my whole life. It's time I take a chance on myself." And that's exactly what she did. A year later, Linda's cleaning company, Harris Shine, was up and running. It started small, with just a few contracts, but Linda's reputation for hard work and fairness quickly gained her loyal customers and employees. Her staff, many of whom were once in the same position Linda had been, working jobs where they felt invisible, found a new sense of purpose working for her. As for the Hilton Tower, Linda continued to work there for a few more months until she felt her business was stable enough to take the leap. But she left behind a legacy of kindness, respect, and a reminder that everyone, no matter their position, deserves to be seen and appreciated. And whenever she visited the Hilton, even if just for a quick cleaning job, she was no longer just the janitor. She was Linda Harris, a woman who had earned her place in the world, not just because of her work ethic, but because of her unshakable belief in herself. Years later, Linda would often tell the story of that unexpected encounter with Donald Trump, but she always ended it the same way. It wasn't the recognition that changed my life. It was the belief that someone finally saw me for who I really was. And that made all the difference. And so Linda's journey, one that started with a mop and bucket, became a story of inspiration for everyone who dared to believe that even in the most unexpected moments, greatness could be recognized. Thank you for watching this incredible story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Diana the Storyteller for more inspiring tales. See you next time.